I was 11 years old when we moved to Driskang, and I'll never forgive that place for what it took from me. My dad took the job as chief of police, so we packed everything we owned and drove up into those Missouri hills. The kind of town where everyone smiles at you a beat too long, and nobody ever talks about the mountain. The other kids had a word for it: Baraska. They said it the way you'd whisper a curse, then change the subject fast. At first, it was just a creepy local legend. People went missing up there, sure, but never the kind of people anyone printed flyers for. The poor ones, the runaways, the ones born a little different. I told myself it was nonsense. Small towns love their ghost stories. And then my sister vanished, Whitney. And the whole town just folded the silence over her like water closing over a stone. The search lasted a week. Nobody really looked. It took me years to dig out the truth, and God help me, I wish I'd left it buried. There's an old mine up in those hills, and the men who run this town, the old families, the respectable ones, they keep the people they take down there. For generations they've kept them, caged, broken, used, hidden under everyone's feet while the whole town pretended not to hear. I went down into that dark, and I found Whitney. She was still alive. That was the worst part of all of it. She was still alive, and there was nothing left of her I recognized. I tried to tell people. I tried to bring it into the light. But you don't fight a whole town. You don't beat 100 years of men protecting each other. So now I just live with it. I smile a beat too long, like everybody else. And the mountain stays hungry. It's always been hungry. I didn't remember it all at once. That's the part I need you to understand before I tell you the rest. My childhood came back to me in pieces. Little broken fragments scattered across 20 years. And it wasn't until I laid them all out, side by side, that I finally saw the shape they made. And the shape was a man. When I was in kindergarten, we did this project. We tied letters to balloons and let them go, all at once, into this huge blue sky. Mine flew further than anybody's. We were all so proud of that. A man found it, somewhere far away, with my little school photo tied to the string. And somewhere inside his head, a door swung open, and it never, ever closed again. The strange memories, they were all him. I just didn't know it yet. Waking up barefoot in the middle of the woods with no idea how I got there. Photographs I never took, of me asleep in my own bed, left somewhere I'd be sure to find them. That feeling I had every single night, that the darkness outside my window was looking back in at me. I thought I'd dreamed it. I thought I was just a nervous kid with a big imagination. My mother let me think that. I understand now that she was trying to protect me. She finally told me the truth when I was a grown man. The man came for me one night. He finally came. But my best friend, Josh, he was sleeping over that night. And in the dark, the man took Josh instead of me. They found him later, a long time later. He died in my place. He was 7 years old, and he died because a stranger picked the wrong bed in the dark. We moved away after that. My mother burned the photographs and never spoke his name again. Josh, I'm so sorry. It should have been me. I'm a journalist. Or I was. That's honestly the only reason I'm still recording any of this. Old habits. I found a thread online about something people called the left/right game. The rules sounded almost stupid. You get in your car and you drive. First left turn you find, then the first right, then left again, on and on, alternating, never breaking the pattern. And if you do it long enough, correctly enough, the road stops being a road you know. I joined a convoy to document it. 9 of us, led by a man named Rob, who swore he'd done it before and come back. I thought I'd come home with an award-winning story. I came home with one arm and nobody left alive to corroborate a single word. The deeper we drove, the more the world came undone at the edges. The sky changed color. Our phones showed dates that hadn't happened yet. One of the cars missed a turn, just one turn, and I watched it sink straight down into the asphalt like the road had turned to water. 2 people, gone before they even understood enough to scream. Others drove off toward a place we started calling Wintry Bay, And one by one, they just chose not to come back. Like something out there was calling them by name. Rob was the last. We ended up in this dead city, full of things that used to be people. And he stayed behind. He stood in the road and held them off so that I could reach the end. He knew he wasn't walking out of there. He did it anyway, because it had to be me. I understand that now. Something out there had been waiting for me. Me, specifically. Long, long before I ever clicked on that thread. I made it out. I really don't think I was supposed to. So if you ever find this recording, don't go looking for the game. The game already knows exactly where you are.
It was supposed to be easy money. That's the whole reason I went. $500, cash, just to walk through 9 rooms of some local haunted house. The kids in town called it the no-end house. I'd been through a dozen Halloween mazes in my life. I figured this was the same dumb thing, just with a better payout. And at first, that's exactly what it was. The first few rooms were a joke. Rubber bats on fishing line, a guy in a mask jumping out, cheap fog that smelled like a high school dance. I actually laughed out loud in room 3. But somewhere after that, the house changed. It stopped trying to scare a stranger. It started using me against me. The rooms began to know things, my fears, my mother's voice, the exact shape of the worst thought I keep locked in the back of my head where nobody's supposed to reach. By the time I got to the 9th room, I'd lost all sense of time. It felt like days, maybe longer. And the 9th room was hell. I'm not being dramatic. I mean that as plainly and as literally as I know how to say it. I gave up in there. I sat down on the floor and I quit. And the second I truly gave up, a thin line of light cracked open in the dark, and I walked through it, back into the lobby like nothing had ever happened. There was an envelope waiting for me on the desk. 5 crisp $100 bills, exactly what they promised. I almost cried, I was so relieved. I went home, bone tired, just wanting my own bed, my own door, my own life. And as I reached for the handle, I saw it. Something carved deep into the wood of my own front door. A number. 10. The house never had 9 rooms. It just hadn't shown me the last one yet. And I'd just walked right into it.
I'm a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service. I've been doing this job a long time, longer than most. And there are things out here that we don't put in the reports. Things the brass tells us, real quiet, to keep to ourselves. Most of us are happy to oblige, honestly, because saying it out loud makes it real. But I'm getting older now, and I think people deserve to know what's actually out there. So here it is. When you go deep enough into the backcountry, and I mean deep, 30, 40 miles from the nearest road, the nearest cabin, anything a human being ever built with their hands, you will, sometimes, come across a staircase. Just a staircase, standing all alone in the middle of the forest. No house, no foundation, no reason. Going up to nothing at all. Concrete or old rotten wood, brand new or 100 years old, it doesn't matter. They don't belong to anything. They never did. The rule gets handed down the first time you see one, officer to officer, real low so the trees don't hear. Don't touch them. Don't stare at them too long. And whatever you do not go up them. I've seen what happens to the ones who broke that rule, or who just stood a little too close to somebody who did. I won't describe it to you. I couldn't if I tried. Some things, once you see them, they don't leave room in your head for sleep. The woods take more people than anyone official will ever admit. Far more. And the families? We tell the families they got lost. That they slipped, or froze, or simply wandered off. It's kinder than the truth. So this is the only warning I can give you. If you're ever out there, far past where you should ever be, and you see steps rising up out of the bare dirt where no steps have any right to be, turn around, walk back the way you came, and don't you dare look behind you. Made it to the end? I'm already grateful. And if you'd be so kind as to like and subscribe, I'd be almost happy. Bye.